Hey there, it's Susan Pierce Thompson and welcome to the weekly vlog. In this week's vlog, I want to cover a topic that's super important, and it's when to begin exercising when you do bright line eating. You might be aware that bright line eating is radically different from most approaches to wellness, weight loss, and health. Because it recommends explicitly that you do not exercise during the weight loss phase, or at least at the beginning when you first start to do bright line eating. Now, let me cover the reasons for that and mention that there are some caveats in there. The reason that we recommend that you don't exercise at the beginning is that it takes a tremendous amount of resources to exercise. It takes time, it takes focus, and most importantly, it takes willpower. It takes willpower to get to the gym or to go out for that jog or whatever it is that you're counting as exercise. It takes willpower to do it, and it depletes the anterior cingulate cortex, the part of the brain that governs, stores, keeps track of, and allocates our willpower resources. And when we're starting bright line eating and looking to change a whole suite of deeply ingrained eating habits, we need a fair bit of our willpower. I was about to say all of our willpower, but, pretty close. We need as much of our willpower on board for that task as we can muster. Now, bright line eating is set up so that when you've been doing it for a while, you don't need willpower to keep doing it. That's the whole magic of it, is that it becomes truly automatic once you've been doing it for a while. And suddenly, over time, gradually, but, at one point, it'll feel like suddenly, months have gone by, and lo and behold, your brain is freed up to take on other challenges, other tasks like exercise. So the idea is kind of like, give up that battle so you can win the war. Give up the exercise battle for now so that you can win the war overall of getting off your excess weight, living in a bright body, and being someone who not only isn't carrying around a whole bunch of extra pounds that you really don't want on your body, but also has a regular exercise program. But it is something that might make you lose the war if you try to do it all at the same time, right? Setting up a whole new eating regimen and launching an exercise routine is too much for the brain to manage all at once. I know a lot of people think, no, I can do it. But how's that worked for you in the past, right? How's that worked for you? So some of the little asterisks here are if you exercise for mental health reasons, right? If you suffer from anxiety, depression, or the like, and your exercise is really part of a deliberate wellness plan for mitigating the symptoms of mental health issues, then by all means keep exercising. If you already are an exerciser when you come to start bright line eating, so it wouldn't be starting to exercise, but just continuing what you have always done, then it's possible that that's okay to continue. But here there's some nuance. So bright line eating tends to attract people who are higher on the food addiction susceptibility scale, meaning more food addicted, more pulled by addiction in general, and more food addicted. And exercise addiction can often go hand in hand with food addiction. And here I'm not even really referring to some sort of clinical certifiable level of exercise addiction. I'm actually just referring to the state of mind of exercising to manage your weight. Thinking, if I do this workout, I'll burn this many calories and that'll make it okay if I eat this, that, or the other thing later in the day. Or, my weight is up a little bit. I better get get exercising. In extreme cases, it's literally, staring at the calorie counter on the treadmill and not letting yourself eat until that calorie count hits a certain amount and you've already pre-burned off all the calories that you're going to eat later. That's a severe form of exercise addiction, or exercise bulimia, it might be called. But it doesn't even have to be that extreme. Even just in your mind, having exercise and weight loss or weight maintenance coupled is an association that we really want to break. We really want to be exercising for mood, for brain health, for heart health, for body shape if we so desire, for energy, for all around health. And as soon as thoughts of weight loss or weight maintenance come into the mix, that's something we want to try to undo. We really want to be exercising for the health benefits and, just because it's a great thing to do for ourselves. But hitting the gym to lose pounds is not, first of all, it's not accurate. There's so much evidence that exercise doesn't help you lose weight. So it's not accurate and it's not mentally healthy. So we want to break that association. A lot of people come into Bright Line Eating very food addicted and very exercise addicted. So it can be terrifying for them when I say stop exercising. If you really have come into Bright Line Eating, exercising in a regular, automatic, and mentally healthy way, by all means, keep going. But let's assume that you're on board, you're starting Bright Line Eating, you're doing Bright Line Eating, and you're not exercising. The question that I want to address in this vlog is, when do you start exercising? Either for the first time or again. When do you start? I haven't talked about that ever in a vlog, and it's just a really important topic. I think that it's critical for us to note that the hall pass expires. The don't exercise, it's actually not good for you right now to exercise hall pass is of very short duration, right? So when should you start exercising again? Because of course you should be exercising, right? We all should be exercising. Exercise is absolutely critical for a healthy life. It just is. And, the research on that is so voluminous that it's way beyond the subject of this vlog. But if you need a refresher, by all means, Google it. Exercise is really, really, really good for you. Okay, so when do we start back up exercising again? Well, the short answer is pretty simple. When your food is automatic. When your food is clean and bright, shiny, shiny, bright for a stretch of time, and eating your weighted measured meals at the right time, what you wrote down the night before is so automatic that it just happens. That it's just, you're tootling along and oh my gosh, it's just not taking any mental reserves anymore to get breakfast, lunch, and dinner eaten on time, exactly what you plan to eat. You'll reach that point. If you follow the structures and the suggestions of Bright Line Eating, you will absolutely reach that point. I would say it'll take a minimum of 3 months, 90 days. If you're really diligent, it shouldn't take longer than 4 or 5 months. If you want to give it a little bit more time, I would say 6 months is fine. But somewhere in that range, you're going to want to look to start exercising again. Now, that is true unless you're coming right up to the transition of maintenance. The worst time to start exercising is when the transition to maintenance is within sight. Okay? Because exercise throws off your the sort of linearity of the relationship between the food you're eating and what the bathroom scale says when you step on it. Because when you start to exercise, your body starts to do all kinds of incredibly healthy things like sock away intracellular water, extracellular water, build bone, build lean muscle mass, and all that shows up on the bathroom scale as weight, right? Which we're conditioned to think is adipose tissue, but it's not adipose tissue at all. It's lean mass, right? And that doesn't matter. I don't care about that, and you shouldn't either, unless you're actually trying to use that number on the bathroom scale in a really pretty sensitive and kind of precise scientific process of figuring out how much food your body needs to eat in addition to the weight loss food plan to be at your stable maintenance food level of consumption. You need the bathroom scale to be a steady reflection of changes in your actual adipose tissue during the process of transitioning to maintenance. And you don't want the monkey wrench of starting to exercise thrown in there so that you can't read the information off the bathroom scale. So do not start exercising as you're facing the transition to maintenance. So basically, people who come into Bright Line Eating are going to fall into one of a few camps here. If you come into Bright Line Eating with just a little bit of weight to lose, you're going to get bright. That weight's going to melt off you, right? And then you're going to not start exercising until after you've transitioned to maintenance. And the transition to maintenance, I'm talking about like, you've added all the food you're going to add, your weight is stable, you've been there for a couple months, you're still bright, your food is still good. You know, if your weight hasn't changed and your food plan hasn't changed for a couple months, you're still bright, everything still feels automatic, time to start exercising. Okay. Now, on the other side of the extreme, you could come in from big numbers with so much weight to lose that you get bright, you start to lose your weight, and you feel like following the weight loss food plan and Bright Line Eating is so automatic that you could start exercising, and the transition to maintenance isn't going to be for a long time. Like, you still have a bunch more weight to lose. You could start exercising. If it's been more than 3 months and your food is automatic, you're bright, start exercising. Now, at this point, though, you're on a weight loss food plan. So you're going to need to be mindful of the fact that you don't have a lot of extra calories to burn, right? Now, no matter here, this isn't a diet club. Like, if you want to hit the gym and hit it hard and you like to lift weights and you like to, you know, get on your high intensity interval workout, great. You just keep in mind, you might need to add some food, right? You might need to double your protein at breakfast. You might need to double your protein at lunch. You might need to add a little more fuel, like add some grain to lunch or dinner. All of those things are perfectly fine and fair to do. It's only appropriate and kind and healthy to fuel your body for what you're expecting of it. And if you add if you're hitting the gym hard and you add in the range of what I'm suggesting, what I just mentioned, you should still continue to lose weight, would be my guess. Now, everybody is different. You can feel free to titrate that according to what feels like it's right for you, but those are some general thoughts. Now, so you might start exercising before the transition to maintenance or after the transition to maintenance. Now, what if you're not bright though? What if you're doing Bright Line Eating, but your lines are wobbly, you're kind of all over the place? Maybe you've been here for years. Maybe maintenance is nowhere in sight. Maybe you were there and now there's been weight creep. You know, the question of like, what do I do about exercise in the mix when the journey is complicated? It's not like, oh, you get bright, 3 months later, everything feels automatic, and now it's time to start exercising and you're good to go. Well, it depends. It depends. It's nuanced. This is why we have coaching in our programs. Should I be exercising is a question that I think each of us is responsible to ask for ourselves. But certainly the don't exercise recommendation was never intended to last years upon years upon years upon years, right? The whole purpose of that is to give yourself a brief period of time up front to get your food dialed in, to break the addiction, to get your healthy eating automatic, to get it all set up and humming, so that you're automatic healthy eating habits can serve you for the rest of your life. And then you can get back to the rest of your life, including exercise, right? That's what it was intended for. So if you've been going years upon years upon years without exercising and Bright Line eating and blaming me, no fair. Your hall pass expired. So if you're bummed about that, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are really, really relieved when they come into Bright Line eating and I tell them not to exercise. Yeah, your hall pass probably is already expired. But what if you're not bright, and what do you do about that? I have to say, you're self-responsible, right? You know the reasons behind it. You know why the guidance initially was to not exercise. So you're going to have to discern in your particular case, what's in your best interest to get your body moving again and to get some of that in the mix. Cause you don't want to go too long without, getting some weight on your muscles and bones. So your muscles stay strong and your bones stay strong. You don't want to go too long without getting your heart beating and getting some sweat going. It's not healthy to be sedentary. Or is it in your best interest to knuckle down, tighten up your program, really invest in some support, invest in yourself and get your lines bright for a good 90 days and then go back and start exercising, right? Only you can be the judge of that. We all, one of my favorite sayings is, and I think I came up with this, but I'm not exactly sure. I've Googled it. I can't find anyone else, owning it, but whatever. In this world, we're charged with the care of just one soul, and that's our own. So you are self-responsible. So I can't say what would be best in your particular case, but I do know that I feel much better when I exercise. Exercise is part of the fabric of a full and vibrant, and effective and happy and healthy life. And I wanted to take some time this week to remind you that you should be exercising if you've been around here for a while. I hate to shit all over people, including myself, but I do think that moving our bodies is important enough that word should probably does apply. And I wanted to make it clear, if you've just started Bright Line eating, when are you going to be looking forward to starting exercising, either again or for the first time? So long overdue subject. That's the weekly vlog, and I'll see you next week.